I finally got the new Marvel Legends Psylocke in the iconic Outback costume she actually wore right here in Australia. She was the missing piece my X-Men shelf needed to almost complete the 80s Outback theme. But does this figure actually capture Marc Silvestri's artwork, or did Hasbro miss the mark? Everyone's worried this cape ruins her balance, but it actually solved a problem I never expected. That still doesn't excuse the biggest thing Hasbro left out, and we'll get to that. This is the first British Betsy Braddock Marvel Legends figure, and Hasbro left me wanting more. Psylocke has only one head sculpt, which is disappointing because this version of Betsy really deserved an unmasked head. I even tried swapping on the Gamerverse Psylocke head, but that's not comic book accurate. Because this figure has a cape and a long hair, Hasbro gave her a longer neck and a smaller ball peg. If you swap on the Gamerverse Psylocke head, it sits a little higher, though it's not noticeable from afar. I really wanted an unmasked head so we can recreate the iconic scene where Revanche unmasked herself, shocking the X-Men when they see the original British Betsy Braddock face underneath. But an unmasked head isn't the only thing missing here. We'll talk about that in a bit. Outback Psylocke head on Gamerverse Psylocke body fits okay, but it's not the right look. In the comics, the Outback suit is described as metal that moves like cloth and fits as comfortably as a second skin. Hasbro did an excellent job translating that into action figure form. The thicker armor sections are made of glossy plastic that captures that metallic sheen, and the overall sculpt stays very true to Marc Silvestri's artwork. The sculpted armor details do not affect articulation. This new Marvel Legends Psylocke moves as you expect from a modern Marvel Legends figure. She can crunch backward really good, but without an ab crunch, Betsy cannot crunch forward. To turn Betsy's gaze to the left and right, the upper torso does the job of the missing waist swivel. The cowl is attached to Betsy's hair and head, so you cannot get a cowl down look. The cowl is comic book accurate, but comes at a small cost. In the comic books, the cowl isn't attached to the cape. But for this Marvel Legends Psylocke figure, it leaves a noticeable gap whenever Betsy looks down. Unlike older Marvel Legends, the cape is glued on. That's good for keeping the cape in place, but bad because you cannot remove it. There are several comic book panels where she only wears the cowl and not the cape. Too bad we can't give her that look without damaging the figure. For the cape, let's start with the downside. Unlike a regular thin Marvel Legends cape, Psylocke got a thicker one, but it has great texture thanks to the sculpted details and folds. The plastic cape affects her articulation and makes balancing the figure a bit of a nightmare. This cape takes things a step further because Hasbro made certain the folded areas are extra thick. Does that make it worse, or is there actually an advantage to having all that extra thick plastic? I thought it would be a deal breaker, but it completely surprised me. The heavy cape actually acts as a stand to keep her stable when her double-jointed pinless knees are bent. As long as you don't need Betsy standing completely straight up, the cape won't cause any balancing issue. For accessories, this new Marvel Legends Psylocke comes with 4 hands. The first pair is a pair of closed fists, and I ended up getting a defective one. The left fist is very loose and won't stay attached to the wrist, especially when I tried to hinge it forward and back. Outback Psylocke also comes with a pair of open palm expressive hands. I can tell that this is a pair of reused and recolored hands because of the sculpted fingernails. A missing pair of hands is a pair of weapon holding hands or C-grip hands. During the Outback era, Psylocke didn't use a side blade. That was something Jim Lee added. One weapon heavily associated with Psylocke is a sword. I can get bash and use other Marvel Legends swords, but the C-grip hands in this specific color are hard to find. Thanks to her double-jointed pinless elbows, her hands can reach the top of her head so that she can do her psychic gesture. The side butterfly effect Hasbro included is thin, the exact same one from the Gamerverse Psylocke. There is a small difference when it comes to the color and translucency, as the new one is clearer. It's great because you can peg it into the right side of her hair, though it sits elevated on one side. But that's not the only problem. The Psy Butterfly effect is inaccurate because it's based on modern Psylocke. During the 80s, just like the packaging art Hasbro chose, that is how the Psy Butterfly should actually look. It's such a unique look because the details genuinely resemble a butterfly. I fear we Psylocke fans missed out on getting a true 80s Psy Butterfly. Some may consider this as a minor or negligible gripe, but for me, this is the exact 80s accessory Outback era Psylocke should have come with. In the comments below, let me know, are you okay with Hasbro missing those key accessories? A fun bit of comic trivia about this armor. Before this suit, Psylocke wore basic fabric, which almost got her killed when Sabretooth mauled her during the Mutant Massacre. To protect Betsy for future attacks, Patch Wolverine ordered this ultra-durable custom armor out of Madripoor. Surprisingly, Betsy was actually the third person to wear it. Lindsay McCabe tried it on first, then slapped it onto injured Tiger to protect her during an ambush. Betsy finally debuted the look herself in Uncanny X-Men 232. Coincidentally, for Marvel Legends, this isn't an all-new body mold either, and Betsy is also the third character to use this exact legs. The first was Lilandra from the Wolverine 50th Anniversary 2-pack, followed by her sister, Deathbird. Does that make Betsy an honorary Shi'ar sister? Even if it was a reuse and repaint, it is surprisingly spot on to her comic book design. To make the sculpted lines stand out, Hasbro added a dark wash which Lilandra and Deathbird did not have. Looking at that upper torso, Hasbro slightly modified Deathbird's sculpt for Betsy. Just look at the identical cuts and overall shape and proportions. In the comments below, let me know, are you glad that Hasbro finally made the Outback Psylocke? If you found this review helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that hype button and like button, subscribe, and like Betsy, telepathically broadcast this review to our fellow collectors by sharing it. For places where the figures in this review might still be available, I left some links in the description below.
I'm Tigerknife.
The new Hasbro Marvel Legends Psylocke from the box Build-A-Figure Wave stands 15.3 cm or 6 inches tall. According to the 2020 X of Swords handbook, Elizabeth Betsy Braddock stands 5 feet 11 inches tall in both her British and Asian bodies. So this figure is very close to the true 1/12 scale. To check if she is the same height in her Asian body, here is Outback X-Men Psylocke alongside Marvel Legends Psylocke's all built on the Asian Quanon body. Lady Mandarin is taller than Strikeforce, Outback, Gamerverse, and X-Force Psylocke. With her popularity in X-Men 97, I hope Hasbro reveals a new X-Men 97 Psylocke very soon. When you put her besides 1/12 scale MAFEX Psylocke, they are nearly the same height, while the 7-inch scale Marvel Select Psylocke towers over both MAFEX and Marvel Legends. Here is Betsy besides the Outback X-Men team. The Colossus here is a kit bash using the Astonishing X-Men Colossus head and the Age of Apocalypse Colossus body. Madeline Fryer is a kit bash using a Jean Grey head on a G.I. Joe Classified Series Lady J body. Here is Marvel Legends Outback Psylocke besides her unofficial Shi'ar sisters in Marvel Legends, Lilandra and Deathbird. Here is Psylocke besides Magic, Astonishing X-Men Kitty, Colossus, and Capcom Cable. The new Marvel Legends Outback Psylocke besides Marvel Legends X-Men 97 figures, Wolverine, Morph, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. Here she is besides different sizes of male Marvel Legends body, the teen body Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2099, Maximum Series Deadpool, and Maximum Series Spider-Man. Here is Marvel Legends Psylocke beside the recently reviewed MAFEX Venom Blue version and the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Venom, or should it be Marvel Games Venom? Here is Psylocke besides Boss Fight Studio Epic Hacks Red Sonja and Darna by Halimao Sculptures and Loose Collector. For a 6-inch scale versus 7-inch scale size comparison, here is the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Hulk and the 7-inch scale Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Hulk. For packaging, Marvel Legends Psylocke comes in the standard Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Wave box with a window so you can see the figure and accessories. Marc Silvestri art from Uncanny X-Men number 250. The side art is taken from Uncanny X-Men number 251, where Psylocke used her telepathy to mind control and push the reluctant X-Men, Colossus, Dazzler, and Havoc into the Siege Perilous, a mystical gateway to save them from being slaughtered by the Reavers. After this scene, the next time we see Psylocke, she is in her Asian body, drawn by Jim Lee. Featuring the same art on the back, here is a short read-up. Pause it right now if you want to have a read. Here are the rest of the figures in this box Build-A-Figure wave. Besides Betsy, I picked up Lady Deadpool and skipped the rest for now. Is the new Marvel Legends Psylocke from the box Build-A-Figure wave worth it? Yes, especially if you're a Psylocke fan and collector like me. I'd love to have a Psylocke figure for every costume here in this Russell Dotterman art. If you want to build the Outback X-Men, this is a no-brainer pickup. At the price of $28, you get a good set of accessories and a very well-sculpted plastic cape. Personally, I would have preferred an alternate unmasked head over this thick plastic cape, as well as a more comic book accurate Psy Butterfly. Nevertheless, I'm glad Hasbro was brave enough to release a Psylocke figure in this specific look. I really appreciate that, especially since most other brands would just stick with her safe, iconic look. In my top 10 Psylocke action figures, this Outback Psylocke was not included. Now that I have her, I would put her in front of Lady Mandarin because of the importance of this costume. I reviewed several X-Men figures, so here is a link in the top right corner of your screen. Thank you. Please click the hype button and the like button. More X-Men content is coming, so make sure to subscribe and share this with our fellow X-Men fans. I will see you in the next one.